Hello once again, witchy people. Today we are talking the book. Call it what you like. Book of Shadows, Grimoire, or in my case, the book. What it is, what do you need it for? You know, and like I said, this is just me. Many witches do things differently. So how do you start with what you might want to call a Book of Shadows? Does it have to be a handmade book? No, it doesn't. My first, and it was called a Book of Shadows. I actually bought this. It had Book of Shadows written on it. And all this silver I added myself. And inside, because I was told, and I kind of had a feeling that everything had to be handwritten. These are the pages I tore out. But I kept them because I was redoing them in, I do believe, if I can find it, here we go, red ink. And much as I love this book, the idea of having a Book of Shadows, a grimoire, a reference book, if you like, for your craft, your path, isn't just as a record. It is also there so you can see how you develop, I believe, which is why this has been kept. It's never been thrown away. And you know, it's part of the history of how I once thought. On from there, I did craft my own book. And I've shown this off before. This is my book. It is simply called The Book. It has a corset binding and charms and all sorts on the side that are important to me. So it has like the green man there, and it has the moon and a pentagram. It has a bell from one of my cats that unfortunately passed away. It, you know, it has oak leaves and acorns, charms, and it has a, this is actually a necklace. It has a pentagram charm as well. It's a necklace. Now I made this, and I'm going to have to make another one because this one is almost full. Although it does have lots of, it has a couple of empty pages in the back, it is almost full. I don't share this with anyone, as in, you know, when people ask what's inside it, I tend not to share, but that's, you know, personal preference. It's okay to share your book. Part of my book is, it's heavy by the way, is I have a whole bit on trees, you know, so yeah, I have a whole bit on there. There's a bit. See, I have a whole thing on trees, and as you can see, none of it is handwritten. It doesn't have to be handwritten. You get a lot of these people that say, oh, you have to handwrite your Book of Shadows or your grimoire or whatever you like to call it. You don't have to handwrite it if you don't want to. If you're talking about the Book of Shadows being a book of shadows, where the book was supposed to be destroyed when the witch passed away and moved on, it was a book of secrets. Some people call it a book of secrets, book of dreams, book of wishes, book of shadows, book of light, grimoire, like I said, the tome. But if you put it in your own handwriting, then you are going to be more identified as, it can be more identified as to who owns the book, which was a dangerous thing in times gone by. So, you know, it doesn't have to be handwritten. It doesn't have to be handmade. Now in here, like I've just shown you, I've got a whole section on herbs. I've got a whole section on sabbats and esbats. I have a section on dark herbs. I have the trees section. There's a lot of artwork in here. Some of my artwork of like the Green Man and similar. There aren't a lot of spells in here, mainly because I do not write a lot of spells down. Spells tend to be very much off the cuff for me. There are some that are I have shared. I don't often share spells, but there are some that I have shared which are very basic. I'm a hedge witch. My magic is basic anyway. A lot of people do not share their spells. I think it's okay, because it's not the spell that has the power. It's you. So it's okay to share them. I don't, because I don't write them down. I don't keep a record of them. I do have a small notebook up there somewhere, and it is a small notebook. It's yay high, on which I write down the odd spell or two. Like if I think a cleansing spell works really well, I think, oh, I'll write that one down. There are a couple in here, but not many. Like I said, spells tend to be quite off the cuff, and that's okay. You don't have to keep a record of every spell you use, unless you want, you think it's going to be something you're going to want to repeat quite a lot. You want to see what works for you, so that's a good idea. But you don't need a book of shadows to keep your spells in. A lot of witches will not keep their spell work in a book of shadows. They will have a separate spell book just for that. So it's okay for the book. The book. It's okay for your book to be, once again, call it what you want to. Like I said, call it Fred if you want. It doesn't matter. So you can call your book whatever you want to call it. In my case, it's either called the Grimoire or the book. It doesn't have to be handmade. The paper doesn't have to be handmade paper. It doesn't have to be handwritten. It just has to be yours. It's okay to make mistakes in the book. It's okay to change your mind about what you've written in the book, because that's what it's for. It's a record of your practice, of your path. So you can call it a record book if you like. So there you go. Quite a quick video on your book, and not how to, just what you can do. I think for me it's all about learning, gathering information, and letting your path evolve around you and with you, so you kind of grow as your information and your knowledge grows. And don't get me wrong, some witches don't agree with that at all. It's not okay to be this way. Some witches prefer to be in a more structured environment, in a coven situation or a group situation. It depends on what path you follow during, witchcraft. This is just a hedge witch way of doing things. Now, a lot of hedge witches wouldn't have had a tome, a book, a grimoire at all, except for sort of like, as I've used it, basic information. It is a reference book for me. It's like an encyclopedia of me. If you go downstairs onto my bookshelf, you will find very few witchy books. Most of my books are to do with myths, legends, old wives' tales, how to store herbs, pick herbs, what herbs are, a lot of hedgerow medicine sort of thing. So not necessarily witchcraft related. Do have some. I love it. Is it Judica Illes? Is that her name? Amazing books. Love those. Scott Cunningham. I've got a lot of Scott Cunningham books, I guess, because I like the fact that he shares. It tends to be quite Wiccan based, but same as Judica Illes, they are, I believe they're both Wiccan, but they don't push the Wicca side of it. It's more just a witchcraft thing. So there you go. Not, like I said, they're just thoughts and opinions for new witches. They're not a how-to. This is not a Witchcraft 101. This is basically a softly approach to, you know, what you can and can't do. Not what you can and can't do, what, you know, basically what I'm saying is you should do what's acceptable and comfortable and what works for you. So if what works for you is to be in a very structured environment following a specific tradition, like Gardnerian traditions or such like, then go for it. Do not listen to what I say. But if you want more of a free-flowing sort of feel to your witchcraft and being a witch, then this is, you know, you don't have to do what other people say. So there you go. That is the book. Done. I actually words aren't coming out. I actually have to update mine. I've got a few more pages to stick in. And by the way, this is, I will say, this is a post-bound album, like a scrapbook. The bits here, they're called, so this, it is heavy. This is a screw that goes right the way through to the other side, and it's called a Chicago screw. But if you look at post-bound albums, you should get that. You see, it's got my artwork in it. You know, it's not just, it is the book of me. It's not just witchcraft, because witchcraft is part of who I am, because I am a witch. So yeah, it doesn't have to be this hoity-toity perfect book. I mean, the ribbons on mine are a bit broken and it's very scuffed around the edges and it's peeling a bit, but inside I have the pages and I print them out and stick them on, and that's how these are done. They are, you know, the pages were made from copy paper, from just printer paper, and, you know, printed out, inked around the edges, stuck onto the page. It works for me. And it's, I think your book has to be aesthetically pleasing to you. It has to look pretty to you, or it has to be, I mean, this would be no good to carry around with me, would it? I mean, it's it's a bit heavy, but it has to suit what you need it for. That's what I'm saying. Thank you for watching, witchy people. I'll be back very soon. Bye for now.